of these developments. Trump's legal spokeswoman, Alina Habba, is with us. Alina, your reaction to that?
My reaction is probably like most human beings with any decency and soul, to joke about an assassination of a former president and leading candidate is deranged, it's sick, and it should be handled appropriately. As it goes to Fani Willis, if those allegations are true, Sean, that is so disturbing on so many levels. Number one, for the constituents of the state of Georgia, that your taxpayer dollars are subsidizing her boyfriend, who is now teamed up with her to persecute and prosecute Trump. For the American people, that when I thought we really couldn't get any lower, when I thought we really couldn't attack him anymore with literally no self-respect and dignity, we have this. We have a woman who's now bringing in somebody who's her boyfriend, paying him quadruple, 10 times what she's making, whatever the number is, and then vacationing on taxpayer dollars, and then in their spare time talking about going after Trump. You know, you shared the very devastating news, Sean, about Melania's mom, and I have had the pleasure of meeting her and her husband, and I think we all have to remember, as human beings, as Americans, Democrats, Republicans, this is a human being, and we all have family. And when you lose a loved one, you are still a person. And I think the American people forget that Donald Trump is a person with a family who is fighting the fight, but also has real life happening. And I would just like to remind everybody to hug everyone and that you love, and send my condolences to the Trump family tonight.
Well, a lot of people like to speculate, about, well, maybe she's not at this event or that event. My understanding is she'd been personally taking care of her mom for a long period of time now. Just she's been doing it quietly, and she's a private person, and she'd have every right to do so. But back to this issue.
Right.
So
that's right.
So here you have, it sounds like that the DA's office in Georgia, they're hiring outside counsel. They're paying him outside counsel fees. And as a result, that is funding a lifestyle that benefits, in this case, the district attorney that's going after Donald Trump. I would imagine that on some level that she's compromised. What does that mean for, the, quote, RICO case, which I never quite understood?
It's unbelievable. I've always said it, Sean. I know you've said it. They'll accuse him of the things they are doing themselves. And that is the case right here. It's a perfect example. It says it all. If this is true, if she really was using taxpayer dollars to funnel vacations and then go after Trump, completely disregarding ethics, completely prosecuting, it's called selective prosecution. You are going after someone as a target and then teaming up with your friends. The only RICO I see is the RICO with the DAs and AGs that is happening. The conspiracy is not a conspiracy at all. We have Soros-backed and other funders that we've seen that are backing these individuals, and they are coordinating, they are profiting, and they are becoming famous, and politically, their agenda is all the same: get Trump. That is the only RICO case I see here. That is the only RICO case. The facts are the truth. Donald Trump has done nothing wrong, and they have intentionally done this and waiting to interfere with an election because they can't beat him in the polls.
What about the issue of the immunity case? Going before a three-judge panel, arguments were held earlier today. At times, based on reports I read, it almost seemed to go off the rails, asking, well, what if the president instructs SEAL Team 6 to kill innocent people? Would the president be acting in his capacity as the president of the United States? Would they have immunity? That seemed to go off the rails. I understand two of the three judges, a three-judge panel, were Biden-appointed judges.
That's correct. I've actually been in front of a judge in New York and been asked the same question on the Michael Cohen case. I won that case on immunity. It's hypotheticals that do not currently exist because the real facts are so easy to win that we have to now argue the slippery slope argument of, if he kills someone, will he be held accountable? He didn't kill anyone. He didn't cause an insurrection. He didn't get charged for it. But they're using hypotheticals to frighten America. This is a slam dunk case. He should have absolute immunity and presidential immunity.
It was Ted Cruz who said earlier in the show, democracy in jeopardy. That's Joe Biden's big campaign slogan. But they're the people that don't want Donald Trump to even be on the ticket, citing insurrection, which he's never been charged with. Makes no sense. Alina, thank you.